All right, welcome to 2026. Every holiday season, I do a peek back at AI and machine learning. And this holiday, I actually wanted to go and create kind of a tutorial, teach people maybe the way I learned machine learning and AI at a fundamental level. And so you can go to my GitHub page. I just created Foundations ML. More will be added as we go along the way here. But let's drop into module one, the linear classifier. Have both the Jupyter Notebook version and just if you wanted just to code to run through everything. Um, let's take a tour. All right, so Jupyter Notebook allows you to run things line by line. I've already installed all the libraries here and also hit play on getting the data set. This data set comes from Hugging Face. Thank you to the folks that created this data set for fish. Taking a look at it in Excel, there actually are a lot of species of fish that go from bream all the way to whitefish. But in reality, in my code, I'm going to actually just create a set looking at bream and roaches. And so, all right, so this is a Excel view of that, but let's go ahead and like with any set of things in machine learning and AI, you wanna take a look at the data. And so the first question you have to ask yourself is, are breams and roaches different? And so you can look by weight and by volume, they are definitely different. We're going to do some linear regression, put some lines against this. What's the best line that represents this data for bream and for roach? And the question is, are they the same line? Are they really, really close or are they different? And so let's go ahead and apply linear regression. And you can see, yes, they're different. There's enough of difference to say that we should be able to create a way to distinguish between the two. And so that's where we get into the topic of gradient descent. You can read a lot more about gradient descent and its application in AI. This is just basically changing up the question. Instead of the equation being y equals ax plus b, where y equals the weight of fish and x is the volume, and we're trying to predict the weight based on the volume of fish. The linear classifier actually wants to take all of that and go, well, can I take the weight and the volume minus a bias and make a prediction of whether it is a bream or a roach. And that's a different question. You're trying to actually classify whether this is a bream or roach. And so I won't go through the details here. You can read that on your own. But what's really neat is I've got this going through a gradient descent, and through the epochs, it's getting better and better weight and bias values for this predictor. And so we go through 50 epochs here. And at the end of the tutorial here, we start to make predictions. And so if we run this, the predictor, we're using the weights that were created in the training. And so let's put some test values in here. I got some suggested ones here. If you caught a fish and you put the weight and the length and volume, the dimensions, I guess, if you will, in, theoretically you should be able to go ahead and create a prediction. And as you can see, we predicted that this was a bream, and we actually plotted the actual fish here, and you can see that it should be determined that it's a bream. You can see that the decision line isn't perfect. There are going to be some breams that will be predict. If you put the values here and you caught a random fish, it will it will detect that that's a roach. But the very first version of a linear classifier, as soon as you understand this, then we can move on to module two.